Welcome to this presentation on agriculture and food production, where we'll explore the various stages involved in bringing food from the farm to your table. Agriculture and food production are vital for feeding the world's population and providing essential raw materials for various industries. In this presentation, we'll delve into the different aspects of agriculture and food production, from farming and agriculture to food processing and manufacturing, distribution and transportation, marketing and sales, nutrition and health, sustainability and environmental impact, policy and regulation, and finally, the future of agriculture and food production. In the first section, we'll discuss farming and agriculture, where we'll explore the various types of farming practices, crop production and management, and livestock production and management. Join me in the next section as we dive deeper into food processing and manufacturing. Here we'll discuss the different methods used in food processing and manufacturing, quality control, and food safety. In the following section, we'll talk about distribution and transportation in food production. We'll discuss supply chain management, challenges faced in food transportation, and possible solutions to these challenges. In the marketing and sales section, we'll explore how branding and packaging play a role in food production, consumer behavior, and market trends. Next, we'll discuss nutrition and health in food production, where we'll explore the importance of balanced diets and healthy eating habits, as well as common health concerns related to food and nutrition. In the sustainability and environmental impact section, we'll discuss sustainable farming practices and ways of reducing food waste and environmental impact. Moving on, we'll explore the policies and regulations involved in agriculture and food production, including food labeling and certification, as well as global and national policies affecting this industry. Finally, we'll look into the future of agriculture and food production, where we'll talk about emerging technologies and innovations, potential challenges, and opportunities, as well as a call to action for sustainable and responsible food production. Thank you for joining me in this presentation on agriculture and food production. Stay tuned for the conclusion, where we'll recap the importance of agriculture and food production, and provide recommendations for further reading and resources. Hello everyone. In this section, we will be discussing farming and agriculture. Agriculture and farming practices vary greatly around the world, but there are some common types of farming practices that are used in most countries. Firstly, let's talk about the different types of farming practices. There are several types of farming practices such as traditional, organic, and modern farming. Traditional farming is the oldest and most natural way of farming, where farmers rely on natural resources and weather conditions to grow crops. Organic farming is a method of farming that involves the use of natural fertilizers and pesticides. Now that we've learned about farming and agriculture, let's take a closer look at food processing and manufacturing. This is a crucial part of the food production process that transforms raw ingredients into food. Next, we're going to take a look at farming and agriculture. When it comes to agriculture, there are different types of farming practices that farmers use to grow their crops and raise their livestock. Let's take a look at some of these practices. First, we have conventional farming, which is the most common type of farming in the world. This is where farmers use synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides to manage their crops and livestock. Next, we have organic farming, which is a method of farming that relies on natural methods and substances to grow crops and manage livestock. Crop production and management is another important aspect of farming. Farmers must consider many factors when growing crops, such as soil health, water availability, and weather conditions. They also need to ensure that their crops are planted at the right time and harvested at the right time to maximize yield. Livestock production and management is another important aspect of agriculture. Farmers must ensure that their livestock are well cared for and have access to clean water, food, and shelter. They must also manage the health of their animals by providing vaccinations and other treatments as needed. Food processing and manufacturing are crucial parts of the food production process. After crops and livestock are harvested from the farm, they must go through various stages of processing and manufacturing to transform them into the products that we buy and consume. In this section, we will explore the different methods of food processing and the importance of quality control and food safety. Firstly, let's discuss the overview of food processing and manufacturing. This involves a range of activities such as cleaning, sorting, grinding, mixing, cooking, and packaging, among others. Each of these stages is carefully designed to ensure that the final product meets specific standards of quality, nutrition, and taste. From the farm, the raw ingredients are transported to food processing and manufacturing plants where they undergo different treatments depending on the product they will become. Secondly, we'll explore the different types of food processing methods. Some of the most common methods include canning, freezing, dehydration, fermentation, and irradiation. Each method has its benefits and drawbacks, and the choice of method depends on the type of food, its nutritional properties, and the desired shelf life. Lastly, we'll discuss quality control and food safety. This is a critical aspect of food processing and manufacturing. Quality control measures ensure that the food products meet the required standards of quality, taste, and nutrition, while food safety measures ensure that the food is free from harmful contaminants and pathogens. Quality control and food safety are essential to prevent foodborne illnesses and ensure that consumers can trust the food they eat. Now that we have covered food processing and manufacturing, we will move on to the next section, distribution and transportation, where we will explore how food products are transported from the processing plants to our tables. 4. Distribution and transportation. A. Overview of distribution and transportation in food production. When it comes to getting food from the farm to your table, distribution and transportation play a critical role. This process involves moving food products from their place of origin to their final destination, which can be a local grocery store or a restaurant on the other side of the world. B. Supply chain management. The food supply chain is a complex network that involves many different stakeholders, from farmers and distributors to retailers and consumers. Effective supply chain management is crucial for ensuring that food is delivered safely and efficiently, and that it arrives at its destination in good condition. C. Challenges and solutions in food transportation. However, there are also many challenges associated with food transportation, such as maintaining the proper temperature and humidity levels during transit, preventing spoilage and contamination, and ensuring timely delivery. Fortunately, there are also many innovative solutions being developed to address these challenges, such as new packaging technologies and advanced tracking systems. Now that we've talked about the production and processing of food, let's move on to Section V, which focuses on the nutrition and health aspects of the food we consume. But before we do, let's take a few minutes to talk about the critical role that marketing and sales play in the food industry. Marketing and sales are essential components of the food industry, influencing everything from consumer choices to product development. In this section, we'll discuss the fundamentals of marketing and sales in food production, including branding and packaging, as well as consumer behavior and market trends. Food companies invest heavily in marketing and advertising campaigns to promote their products, using various channels such as social media, television, and print media to reach their target audiences. They also pay close attention to packaging design, making sure that it stands out on the shelves and appeals to consumers. Understanding consumer behavior and market trends is also critical to success in the food industry. For example, consumers are increasingly interested in sustainable and organic food products, which has led to a surge in demand for these types of products in recent years. As we move into the next section, keep in mind the influence that marketing and sales have on the food industry, and how they shape our choices as consumers. Now, let's delve into the fascinating world of nutrition and health in food production. Now that we've learned about the importance of nutrition and healthy eating habits, let's dive into the topic of sustainability and environmental impact in agriculture and food production. This is crucial for ensuring that we can continue to enjoy the benefits of a thriving food industry for generations to come. As we discussed earlier, agriculture and food production play a crucial role in our lives. But it's not just about producing food, it's also about producing healthy food. And that's where the importance of nutrition and health comes in. Firstly, let's talk about the overview of nutrition and health in food production. Nutrition refers to the science of how our bodies use the nutrients in food to fuel our activities and maintain our health. And it all starts with the food we eat. A healthy and balanced diet is essential to maintain good health and prevent chronic diseases. Secondly, it's important to understand the importance of balanced diets and healthy eating habits. In today's world, where processed and convenience foods are readily available, it can be challenging to make healthy food choices. But it's essential to prioritize healthy food options to maintain our health. Lastly, common health concerns related to food and nutrition are also a significant topic to consider. These include food allergies, food intolerances, and chronic diseases such as heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. It's important to be aware of these health concerns and make informed food choices to prevent them. That concludes our discussion on nutrition and health in agriculture and food production. In the next section, we will talk about sustainability and environmental impact. So, let's move on to the next section. Sustainable food production is the process of producing food in an environmentally and socially responsible way, while meeting the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. B. Sustainable farming practices. Sustainable farming practices are essential for maintaining soil health, preserving water resources, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and conserving biodiversity. These practices include crop rotation, reduced tillage, use of cover crops, integrated pest management, and agroforestry. C. Reducing food waste and environmental impact. Food waste is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions and environmental degradation. By reducing food waste, we can reduce the environmental impact of food production. We can also reduce food waste by improving distribution and storage practices, and by educating consumers about the importance of reducing food waste. Now, let's move on to the next section, where we will discuss policies and regulations in agriculture and food production. Firstly, food labeling and certification are crucial aspects of ensuring food safety and quality. Food labeling allows consumers to make informed choices about what they eat, and certification programs verify that the food has been produced according to certain standards. Secondly, there are various global and national policies that affect agriculture and food production. These can include regulations on land use, trade policies, and subsidies. It's important to understand these policies and their impact on the food system. Finally, policies and regulations can also play a role in promoting sustainable and responsible food production. For example, some countries have implemented regulations to reduce food waste or encourage sustainable farming practices. That's it for policies and regulations. Now let's move on to the future of agriculture and food production in the next section. 9. Future of agriculture and food production. A. Emerging technologies and innovations. The future of agriculture and food production is exciting and full of promise. With advancements in technology, there are many innovative solutions that are being developed to address the challenges that we face. For instance, precision agriculture is an emerging technology that uses drones and sensors to collect data on crops and soil conditions, which can be used to optimize farming practices and improve yields. Additionally, vertical farming is another emerging technology that uses indoor environments to grow crops in a more controlled and efficient manner. B. Potential challenges and opportunities. While there are many opportunities for growth and improvement in the field of agriculture and food production, there are also challenges that need to be addressed. Climate change, for example, is already having an impact on food production, and the need for sustainable practices is more pressing than ever. There are also issues with food waste and distribution that need to be tackled to ensure that everyone has access to nutritious food. C. Call to action for sustainable and responsible food production. To address these challenges, it's important that we all take responsibility for our food choices and support sustainable and responsible food production practices. This means being mindful of the environmental impact of our food choices and supporting farmers who use sustainable practices. We can also reduce food waste by being mindful of our own consumption habits and supporting organizations that work to redistribute surplus food to those in need. That concludes our discussion on the future of agriculture and food production. Let's move on to the final section, where we'll wrap up our discussion and provide some final thoughts and resources. 11. Economics of agriculture. In this section, we will explore the economic factors involved in agriculture and food production. The cost of production, supply, and demand all play significant roles in the economics of agriculture. First, we will provide an overview of the market forces and pricing that affect agriculture. The price of crops, livestock, and other agricultural products is determined by the laws of supply and demand. These market forces are influenced by various factors, including weather patterns, trade agreements, and global economic trends. Next, we will discuss the role of subsidies and government support in agriculture. Governments around the world often provide financial support to farmers to ensure the stability of the food supply and to promote local agriculture. However, there are debates over whether these subsidies are effective or sustainable in the long run. For instance, subsidies can distort market prices, incentivize overproduction, and create trade imbalances. In addition, subsidies may primarily benefit large agribusinesses rather than small-scale farmers, leading to consolidation in the industry. Furthermore, government policies can also have a significant impact on the economics of agriculture. Trade agreements, tariffs, and regulations can affect the competitiveness of domestic agriculture, as well as the prices of imported and exported agricultural products. These policies can create winners and losers in the industry, depending on their impact on different types of agriculture and on various countries. In summary, the economics of agriculture is a complex and dynamic system, influenced by multiple factors and actors. While subsidies and government support can provide stability and support for farmers, they can also have unintended consequences and may not always be sustainable. Understanding the economics of agriculture is crucial for developing policies and practices that promote a fair and sustainable food system. Now, let's move on to the next section and explore the cultural and social impacts of food. 12. Cultural and social impacts of food. In this final section, we will examine the cultural and social impacts of food. Food is more than just a source of sustenance. It also plays a significant role in shaping cultural identities and communities. First, we will discuss the cultural significance of food and how it varies across different communities and regions. Food can be a symbol of tradition, heritage, and history. It can also be a way to connect with others and build social relationships. Next, we will look at the social implications of food access and availability. Food insecurity and poverty are major issues around the world, and access to healthy and nutritious food is not always equitable. We will explore the ways in which social factors like income, race, and geography can impact access to food. Lastly, we will examine issues related to food justice and equity. These include concerns over fair labor practices, sustainable farming practices, and access to healthy and culturally appropriate food. We will discuss how individuals, organizations, and policymakers can work towards a more just and equitable food system. When it comes to subsidies and government support, there are a few different types. One is direct payments to farmers, which are intended to help them offset the costs of production and remain profitable. Another type of subsidy is insurance programs, which protect farmers from unexpected losses due to weather or other factors. Finally, there are trade protections, such as tariffs, which are designed to limit foreign competition and support domestic agriculture. While subsidies can be helpful in the short term, some argue that they can create market distortions and lead to overproduction. This, in turn, can lead to lower prices and an oversupply of certain crops or products. Additionally, subsidies often benefit large agribusinesses more than small-scale farmers, which can exacerbate income inequality in the industry. On the other hand, supporters of subsidies argue that they are necessary to ensure the stability of the food supply and to promote local agriculture. Without subsidies, many farmers would not be able to remain profitable and would be forced to leave the industry, which could have negative effects on the food supply and the economy as a whole. Ultimately, the role of subsidies and government support in agriculture is a complex issue with no easy answers. It is important to consider the potential benefits and drawbacks of these programs and to continue to evaluate and adjust them as necessary to ensure a sustainable and equitable food system. That concludes our presentation on agriculture and food production, from farm to table. Thank you for joining us on this journey, and we hope you gained a better understanding of the complexities and importance of our global food system. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey of agriculture and food production. In conclusion, we have learned about the significance of agriculture and food production, the different farming practices, crop and livestock management, food processing, distribution and transportation, marketing and sales, nutrition and health, sustainability and environmental impact, policies and regulations, and the future of agriculture and food production. It is important to recognize the impact that agriculture and food production have on our daily lives, and how we can all take action to ensure that our food is produced sustainably and responsibly. By supporting local farmers and businesses, reducing food waste, and making conscious choices about what we eat, we can contribute to a healthier planet and a healthier us. I encourage you to continue learning and exploring this topic, and to stay informed about the latest innovations, policies, and practices in agriculture and food production. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and I look forward to continuing the conversation.